Okay, I get a lot of questions about things, and so I thought I'd tell everybody how I light my smoker. I know that there are about 10 opinions or maybe even 20 in beekeeping for every best way how to do something. But starting out, this is, where I start out with. I start out with my smoker, my hive tool, a sheet of newspaper, matches, and of course the fuel. And my personal favorite is to use pine needles because I think pine needles make a nice, good smoke. The one thing about pine needles that do cause a problem is at times you have to clean out the soot that builds up because of the pine needles. So every once in a while I will, scrape out this because sometimes it'll get blocked up with soot. I start with the one sheet of newspaper. I tear it in half, scrunch it in a couple of balls, and it's a little windy today, so I don't know if how difficult this is going to be today, but let's give it a shot. So you get the paper burning a little bit. Sometimes you might give it a little air. Put in the other piece. Get that flame going. Like I said, the wind's going a little bit, so it may make my hand a little hot today. And then as the flame starts kind of burning out the paper, then you drop in a few pine needles, get those going, kind of get those, they're not coals because they're so small, but kind of get a base of hot stuff in there. Get that going. And then once you kind of have a base of hot stuff, the thing I like about pine needles is they're plentiful. We just get a bag of these from our neighbors, and it's lasted us a couple years. So once those are kind of burned down and hot, and you got a good flame going, then when I say stuff it, you really stuff it as much as you can get in there. Now when you stuff it, it's starved for oxygen, so you got to make sure you give it enough air. And then you just stuff that container as full as you can, and it'll make a nice, nice, cool, white smoke that'll work great, and it'll last for an hour. So that's pretty much the end. So you just pump it, and once you get it started, you gotta pump it a little bit because it will run out of air. So you gotta pump it every once in a while for a few minutes, and then it won't go out. That's it. Thanks. Have a good day. Alright, something that's really important, especially if you're using pine needles because they have that pitch in it, is if you don't dump it out before it cools, it's going to be basically cemented. So I just find a spot. This is bark, it's going to burn, but I just find a spot and dump out all my pine needles. You can see how few burn, and then just make sure they're extinguished really good because they'll catch on fire. And that's what you do to light a smoker. Have a great day.